Week 1 in Norman, Oklahoma. Here comes the Sooner Schooner. As we welcome you to ESPN College Football, presented by Zales. On a sunsplash Saturday morning, expectations as high as ever here inside the Palace on the Prairie. Arkansas State's in town out of the Sun Belt to tangle with number 20, Oklahoma. Final season in the Big 12 for Brent Venables and the Oklahoma Sooners before transitioning into the SEC 6-7 a year ago, the first losing season in a generation in these parts. Meanwhile, for Butch Jones, the head man in Jonesboro, Arkansas, year number 3. And all of his stops along the way, he has been ultra successful in that third campaign. Would love to spring the upset here today in Big 12 territory. So glad you could join us for week 1 of college football. He's Roddy Jones. I'm Roy Philpott. Taylor McGregor on the sideline in just 1 minute. And Roddy, we talk about it. We've mentioned it all summer long. Final year in the Big 12 for OU before they transition to the SEC. Brent Venables trying to turn things around in 2023.
It feels like a wide open year in the Big 12, and Oklahoma is in a position to take advantage of that and get back to where they're accustomed to being. They had 6 straight Big 12 titles. Last 2 years, not able to get it done. And the question is, what's different? What changes this year? Brent Venables feels like he can turn around that 0-5 record in one-score games with the amount of depth that they've created. In year 2 into Brent Venables' defenses, they tend to make big strides. We'll see if that's the case this year, Roy.
Buddy, it's great to be working with you. We are blessed to have the jobs that we do in this kind of environment. Oklahoma won the coin toss and elected to receive. A Nelson set to kick things away for the Red Wolves. Jalil Farouk back deep to receive and a pooch kick. Fair caught at the 30. Moments ago, Taylor McGregor with Brent Venables.
Year 2 of the Brent Venables era here at Oklahoma. Coach, why do you expect this year to be different?
I think our guys are more mature. We've learned, we've grown, we've improved our roster, we've developed the guys that are here. I think we have great leadership. Our guys have tremendous buy-in. They got a chip on their shoulder. They know we got a lot to prove, and I think our chemistry is outstanding.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Roy?
Tawee Walker gets his first career start, and the touch ahead to the 35, a gain of 4 yards on first down. Roddy, we love Dylan Gabriel. He's accounted for almost 100 touchdowns in his career in college. He can do it all for the Sooners. He gets the start at quarterback. Into the flats goes Andrell Anthony, and the transfer from Michigan ushered out just shy of the 40-yard line.
Dylan Gabriel, a guy that started games since 2019 at UCF, the 3 seasons at UCF, 2 3,000-yard passing seasons. Last year at Oklahoma, battled some injuries, but still had a pretty decent year.
Straight ahead on 3rd down and 2, and that will move the chains. A first down for OU after a gain of 7. The stop by Javonte Mackey. Walker off to a good start. The junior out of Las Vegas. OU utilizing tempo and play action for Gabriel. Wants it all. Fires a shot, and it is brought into the 10 by Anthony. From the Big 10 to the Big 12, it equals a big play and a gain of 45.
Talking to the coaches, they were so excited about the speed that Andrell Anthony brings over from Michigan. One-on-one with the cornerback Justin Hodges, able to win with a lot of open field.
Play action to Stoops, and that's a quick touchdown. Drake Stoops marches in, and just like that, Boomer on the board.
The block by Andrell Anthony, number 5, sets this up. And Drake Stoops does the easy part, getting in the end zone, but receivers blocking for each other, and it's a dream start for Oklahoma with a big play finished off by a toss and a run.
Zach Schmidt on for the PAT. And a line drive kick is good to make it 7-0. Number 20 OU flexing on its first possession. Ronnie, how does 70 yards in 79 seconds sound?
It sounds exactly like Jeff Lebby wanted it. Talked to him before the game. I asked him what he was looking for, and he said, I don't want to be out there very long. Play action, Dylan Gabriel with pressure in his face. But the big thing, Andrel Anthony, that play action freed up a lot of space on the back end, had a lot of space to work with. And then Jalil Farouk and Andrel Anthony throwing some incredible blocks on the perimeter. Drake Stoops able to get in, and this crowd absolutely loves it, Roy.
Now 146 consecutive sellouts before today. We had a sense after talking to OU, the staff, the team this week, there was not going to be any kind of early season letdown after the Cheez-It Bowl loss to Florida State, all the close setbacks last year. This team is programmed with something to prove early.
Really are. And when you're at a place with the expectations of Oklahoma, you can feel the standard at all times. And Brent Venables feels like in his second year, he's not having to coach the effort and the want to, the love of football. He feels like this team is really connected and they want to go out and play hard.
Zach Schmidt sends it deep. Jaquez Cross watches it sail over his head. Our first look at J.T. Shrout, played last season at Colorado in Boulder. Started his career at Tennessee. Sounds like he's gaining health, gaining strength, gaining confidence now in his first season in Jonesboro.
A guy who had a season-ending injury last year at Colorado couldn't spend the spring here at Arkansas State, so spent it out in Colorado talking to the offensive coordinator Keith Heckendorf, but a guy who's played in some big environments.
Cross the running back on first down. The swing pass is incomplete. They expect to get number 2 in white, the football a good bit today as a receiver, as a running back, as a kick returner.
He's one of the big playmakers. And for Arkansas State, in order to shorten this game, they're going to huddle a bunch, but they're going to have to be successful on first and second down to stay out of some of these exotic looks on third.
Oklahoma shows pressure, and the quick toss in the flats to Courtney Jackson, bottled up by Justin Harrington from that cheetah position. Now Oklahoma defensively expecting to improve in a very significant way in 2023. Missed tackles, the fatigue late. Brent Venables, certainly his track record at Clemson demonstrated deeper into his career there. They were able to figure things out in a multitude of ways. 3rd and 6. Shrout lofts one deep. And incomplete, trying to spot Jeff Foreman. Off the fingertips and out of bounds. It's 3 and out.
What a dream start for Oklahoma. Offensively, you have the quick drive, and then defensively, you force a 3 and out. For Arkansas State, they did a pretty good job of picking up the blitz. Man-to-man coverage with the safety in the middle of the field. They take a shot. Really good coverage by Woody Washington, the 5th-year senior at corner.
Kevin Freeman, now on scholarship, back deep to receive this punt. William Prista. Hiding that Oklahoma sun with a path. There he goes across midfield. And another big play for OU. Gavin Freeman to the house. You like fast starts?
I love a fast start. Maybe not as much as this crowd, but this Oklahoma team putting its stamp on the game early.
An 82-yard punt return for a touchdown. For Gavin Freeman, the sophomore from Oklahoma City, and Schmidt is true again. 14-0.
Gavin Freeman able to make a couple guys miss. You see the speed, his ability to get to the corner, get a body on a body down the field. Gavin Freeman finishes and has this place in an absolute frenzy. 14-0 Sooners.
Like, that's literally a dream come true. All right? As a little kid, he's been coming to these games, watch his dad come here and ball out. You want to talk about a legacy? You want to talk about a dream come true? Walking in the good old days right now. These are the good old days for you.
Gavin Freeman put on scholarship just last week. His first touch this season, he scores a touchdown on the punt return. His first touch last year, and the first of his career, also went for a touchdown against Utah. Jaquez Cross from his own 10. Makes one man miss, bottled up. As we send you to the studio, Matt Berry, good morning or afternoon.
Gentlemen, happy college football season. Time now for the Twisted Tea drop-in. We're going to start with Tennessee. Joe Milton now the starter at Rocky Top. Same as it ever was for that offense. Dylan Sampson touchdown, balls up 7-0 early. And after forcing a 3-and-out on TCU, Colorado, Shedeur Sanders to Dylan Edwards. Coach Prime an early 7-0 lead against TCU.
Coach Prime getting it done early in the blazing heat in Fort Worth, Texas, there in the Metroplex. Stroud directing traffic, and along the right side will pick up a first down for the Red Wolves, and he was hammered down with a quick penalty marker to fly after the devastating hit by Reggie Pearson.
Reggie Pearson just has to be smarter than that. I know JT Stroud was only a step out of bounds. It was pretty bang, but you have to know the quarterback's going out. It is pretty close. I mean, JT Stroud it's just stepped out of bounds. That right foot looked like it was still inbounds. The left foot is the one that's clearly out. I think some of the fact that it was a quarterback played into it and the hit didn't look great. Reggie, if you're Reggie Pearson, just pull off. There's no reason to even put the shoulder into the quarterback.
After the 15-yard penalty, the handoff. Pearson makes the stop on Zach Wallace. No gain on the play. No, Pearson battles back quickly.
They really like this safety group, Roy. Reggie Pearson, Billy Bowman, Key Lawrence, all three of those guys we expect to see today. Pearson, a big, physical, aggressive downhill safety. You can see it there in the backfield.
If you're just tuning in, 2 touchdowns were scored in less than 70 seconds. Arkansas State with its second possession. On second down, the pump fake, and in the flats dropped again, the second drop. This time it's Manny Stevenson as we check in with Taylor.
When you talk about Brent Venables' defenses, they always take a significant jump in year 2, and linebacker Danny Stutzman said it best. He said, look, a year ago I was just trying to figure out where I was going and trying to play fast, but now I'm teaching everybody else on the defense what's happening, and teaching it has helped him learn it, and they feel like they're taking a big step forward this season.
Taylor, thank you. On third down, Stroud broken up, and OU aggressive with McCullough, the reserve cheetah behind Justin Harrington, getting the PBU.
Deshaun McCullough was one of the biggest names in the transfer portal after a really nice year last year at Indiana. Showing his ability to play in space, was much more of a line of scrimmage player with the Hoosiers, but that time, great break on the football and a nice pass breakup.
The ever dangerous Evan Freeman back deep to receive. Another Arkansas State punt. At the 1, did it cross the plane. And a touchback awarded to Oklahoma. Sooners get the football when we return here in Norman.
ESPN College Football is presented by Zales, only at Zales, the Diamond Store.
Well, you love the old school visor. Bob Stoops, Josh Heupel dropping dimes, now the head coach at Tennessee. Almost 23 years ago to the day the last time these two teams met. Oklahoma ranked number 20, getting it done, and then fast forward just a couple of months later, the national championship. Heupel, the last national championship run for the Sooners. And ironically, starting this campaign, they face Arkansas State again. And we will see if history can repeat itself.
Wouldn't Oklahoma fans love that?
They try to schedule the Red Wolves every single year.
Every single year if that happens.
Marcus Major on the field. We expect him to get the bulk of the carries today. Farouk around the left side. And spun down after picking up 11 by Travion Thomas. That's a first down.
Again, the perimeter blocking, fantastic from Oklahoma. The big tight end, Blake Smith, out front.
Incredible pace so far for the Sooners. Drake Stoops. Crowd will tell you who caught it into plus territory. Another big gainer of 21. Well, Dylan Gabriel told us this week him and Drake Stoops have become ultra close, very tight. They share the same sense of humor. On cue, another first down. Shoved down near the 40, another gain of 11. So what kind of humor is that, Rod? He said we're both pretty sarcastic.
I also think the age thing may have something to do with it. A fifth-year guy and a 60-year guy.
They've been playing ball for a long time. Straight ahead goes Major and stopped by Mackey. Chopped down near the 30. 6-yard gain.
This running back room, they really like the depth. May not see the top two, Gavin Sawchuk and Javante Barnes today, though.
Major ahead of the 25. How about this pace? Have you seen anything this fast recently?
Let's just say it's been since last season since we've seen anything this fast. Maybe other than you running for a plane.
Maybe later today that could be happening. Off the pump fake. To the end zone. And incomplete. Farouk, the intended receiver. Got two hands on it, blanketed by Sammy Johnson, who did a decent job.
Yeah, Sammy Johnson did a good job not letting Jalil Farouk have a free release off the line of scrimmage. Farouk actually had to go around him kind of out of bounds before getting down the field. Johnson a little banged up.
Senior from Little Rock, Arkansas. Rob Harley, defensive play caller for the Red Wolves, told us late last night he's got a ton of confidence. We need him today. He is banged up right now as we step aside for an injury timeout here at Norman.
Matt Berry back in our college football studio with our AT&T 5G multi-view. So much to watch throughout the afternoon. ABC, Tennessee up 7-0 on Virginia. Joe Milton going deep, drops it. Could have been a score for Rocky Top. SMU on ESPNU. And if you're looking for the tennis, that on ESPN2 and the U.S. Open.
Matt Berry, thank you very much. Back here in Norman, Sammy Johnson assisted off the field moments ago, the starting cornerback for Arkansas State. 5 minutes in, OU on the move again with Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor on the sidelines. And a fast start, to say the least. The nation's top 20 program, Oklahoma. Freeman on the jet sweep. A little quick toss to the edge. Lassoed out of bounds, and a late penalty marker comes in near the 19.
I think you're going to get an illegal blindside block on number 16, Blake Smith. Absolutely decked a defender. Second from the top is going to be Blake Smith. He comes in and just drills the defender.
Personal foul. Illegal blindside block. Offense number 16. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay second down.
A few years ago, Roy, they changed the rules so that all blocks basically have to come from the front. The defender has to have a chance to see the block coming. Blake Smith had to try and get there somewhere. You want to just kind of put your hip into the player, into a defender in that situation, just to throw him off a little bit, but it puts Oklahoma well behind the chains.
Probably a wide receivers or tight ends least favorite rule change recently. It'll be second down and 22. Delayed give to Marcus Major. No, the play action fake, and the pass is there for Anthony. Across the 20, down to the 18, a gain of 18, and that penalty yardage is gobbled up quickly.
These corners are going to be on an island a lot in this Arkansas State defense. Rob Harley comes from the Mark D'Antonio Patnarduzzi tree. Those corners are on an island a lot so that you can come down and stop the run. In a one-on-one situation, Dylan Gabriel sees the numbers in the box, pulls it, and fires a strike to Andrew Anthony against Justin Hodges.
Another nifty move. It Stoops. Inside the 5, it'll be first down and goal for OU. Made
the safety Travion Thomas miss. No surprise, they're going fast again. Drake a little banged up, though. Favoring that right shoulder.
Drake Stoops out, Gavin Freeman in. Already with 4 catches. Number 12 in crimson and cream. Major, the running back, straight ahead, hits a wall. And stopped short of the 3.
Arkansas State was trying to get a sub onto the field. Thought because Drake Stoops left the game, Gavin Freeman into the game, they would have time, but they got caught with an extra guy right there on the sideline.
Right, it feels like Red Wolves just trying to catch their collective breath after this incredible start.
Defense, 12-minute formation.
Butch Jones trying to find something that makes sense on defense.
Call was a legal substitution on the defense.
Still first and goal. And Smith started to move. Take a look at that last sequence. Veteran officiating crew led by Jonathan Noley today. William Scott in the replay booth, and Butch Jones wants to know what's happening. Stoops requiring a little bit of assistance, but walking under his own power.
What a start to the game for the slots for Oklahoma. Drake Stoops, as you mentioned already, the number of catches he's got. Gavin Freeman with the punt return for a touchdowns.
Dylan Gabriel looks the part, right? I mean, there's a lot of eyes on him after trying to become more efficient this year, avoiding those first down and second down sacks maybe that we saw a season ago. And this replay review comes down to Arkansas State, the number of defenders it had on the field. And it appears as if they had one more than the legal limit.
On the field, confirmed, 12-minute formation.
So they went back to look and see if that 12th man got off the field before the ball was snapped. He did not. Look at the Arkansas State sideline. Got a player to the 15-yard line. And I think they thought because there was a substitution between Stoops and Freeman that they would have time to make that sub. Not quite able to get off the field before the ball was snapped.
That was Kieron Crawford.
And Butch Jones is wondering why they didn't get the opportunity to sub.
Smith in motion. Major again, the running back on first down and goal. Major plows his way straight ahead in his first touchdown of his senior campaign.
Look at Gavin Rame, the center. This is getting after somebody. He does an excellent job of driving Nate Marty into the end zone, opening up a hole. And this Oklahoma offensive line showing the physicality. They've kind of had it their way.
Andrew Rame, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma senior. Another flag on the field. It feels like OU's offensive line is at a different level in Brent Venables' second season, right?
Around here in Norman, they feel like this offensive line has a chance to be.
Defense with contact. Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
They feel like this offensive line has a chance to be one of the best that they've had in a long time. And that's coming from an offensive line coach and Bill Bedenbaugh that's been here for a decade. He thinks they have high-end talent, particularly Tyler Guyton at the right tackle position, but Andrew Rame there in the middle, an excellent center. And you saw why on that touchdown.
We've seen touchdown pass, a touchdown run, and a special team score already for the Sooners. 21-0 our score. Don't forget our Week 1 ABC College Football tripleheader will be capped off tonight. The Battle of the Carolinas in the Queen City, the Duke's Mayo Classic. Number 21 UNC against Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Roddy, it's SEC, it's ACC. And North Carolina a slight favorite coming into this game tonight. What do you like?
I love the quarterback matchup. Drake May on one side, quarterback that people think has a chance to be a top 5 pick. Spencer Rattler a couple years ago was projected in that same spot, showed real flashes towards the end of last year. And I really like deciding on the field who the real Carolina is, because I know that this game will decide it, and we will all follow whatever the rule is based on the winner.
Enjoyed College game day in Charlotte earlier today. In case you missed it, Coach Corso went with the Tar Heels and his good friend Mac Brown.
I'll tell you what, I really like the North Carolina running back room. But Juice Wells has been a little banged up for South Carolina at receiver over the course of the preseason. His health is going to be a big part of what happens in this game.
And which Spencer Rattler do we see? The one we saw last year at the end of the season against Clemson in Tennessee. Is he ready to build off of that as we check in again with Matt Berry?
Speaking of ready to build, Michigan back-to-back playoff appearances. Jim Harbaugh suspended first 3 games. J.J. McCarthy, no worries. Roman Wilson across the middle of the end zone. 7-0 Michigan over East Carolina.
Good start for the Maize and Blue with ECU in town. Not so good of a start for Arkansas State, trailing Oklahoma by 21. Is there anything you would like to see more or less of from J.T. Shrout now in possession number 3?
To be honest with you, Roy, I think it's efficiency early in downs and completing passes so they don't get behind the chains.
T-Mac, what you got?
Talking to quarterback J.T. Shrout this week, he's still learning this offense. Guys, he has 6 years of college football under his belt. This is his 5th different offense. So a lot of what he's doing is learning the offense still, and also timing with the receivers. That was something he pointed out to me. He was just named QB1 this week, and so the timing with some of his receivers can still improve.
And he's a guy that just got to Jonesboro in the summer, so missed a lot of time in the spring trying to get that chemistry.
Pop pass to Tennell Bryant with a penalty marker down and a face mask coming on Billy Bowman.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 2. 15-yard penalty added to the end of play. Automatic. First down.
It's a couple now 15-yard penalties that this Oklahoma defense has given. 3rd personal foul overall on Oklahoma, including the illegal blindside block. But you had the late hit on the sideline by Reggie Pearson, and now Billy Bowman called for the face mask.
Talented freshman Tennell Bryant on the pop pass. Arkansas State again with possession near midfield. Play action, Shrout wide open. The slant pattern is there. Into OU territory goes Corey Rucker. Started his career at Arkansas State, transferred to South Carolina a season ago, and now back to Jonesboro in 2023.
What a great story that Corey Rucker is. A guy that thought he was going to greener pastures at the University of South Carolina, got hurt, needed this Arkansas State staff, needed this environment. A big catch early in this one.
Gain of 28. Arkansas State had just 20 yards in its first 9 plays from scrimmage. Play action again, and Shrout looking long. Front pylon and out of bounds, looking for Foreman. And the coverage by Woody Washington.
Guys, just to add a little bit on Corey Rucker, speaking to him this week, he only appeared in 1 game a year ago, had season-ending left foot surgery, and he told me he's still not 100%. He's still trying to get back into game shape to return to the guy he was in 2021, which was a freshman All-American.
Talented receiver. Butch Jones told us he broke down when he made the phone call to come back to the Red Wolves program. They welcome Corey Rucker back with open arms. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and long.
Certainly did. When we asked Butch Jones why bring back Corey Rucker when he decided to leave the team, he said, look, he did everything right here when he was at Arkansas State. He is very close. Butch Jones is very close with Corey Rucker. And so when that call came, Butch Jones said, and I felt like he needed this place in the family environment.
Wallace, the running back. Wallace with a carry, and Wallace with no real estate in front of him. Jordan Kelly crashed the pocket. That's going to be a TFL and a loss of 2.
What an individual effort fighting off the block by Jordan Kelly, because had he not been able to wrangle him, there was a lot of space Arkansas State might have picked up the first down. Right there in the middle of your defense. Jordan Kelly is going to slant down, fight off the block, just make an incredible play. Really tough for an offensive lineman to cut that angle off when you're trying to seal it off on the backside.
Dominic Zavada, 44-yard field goal attempt on the way. And Zavada will push that one wide right. Well, Brent Venables' defense holds. One of the things we were curious about after talking with Coach Venables yesterday, would he be more involved in the defensive play calling this fall? After last year, things kind of went awry at the end of the year. Talks about competitive depth. And I don't think he shied away from the notion he will be more involved this fall in that defensive play calling, Roddy.
And we asked him, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Because it already feels like you are ingrained in what you guys do defensively. He said, look, it means I'm going to make myself more available during the week. I'm going to delegate more during the week so that I can be in there with the defensive staff to just lend my expertise. Ted Roof, the defensive coordinator, has been around in a bunch of places. He's had a lot of really good defenses. But Brent Venables, the reason he got this job is because of calling defensive ball plays.
Javonte Barnes, carry number 1 in 2023. He's been banged up a little bit in camp. He picks up 5 yards.
One of the big surprises about this Oklahoma depth chart when it came out was where Javonte Barnes was, but a lot of that was just availability that had him below Tyree Walker and Marcus Major.
Walker made his first career start. Barnes bouncing around like a pinball, short of the first down. Malik Straker, first time we've called his name. All-conference performer in the Sun Belt last year with a stop. Third down inside zone, and Barnes clears a path. Needed 1, he'll pick up 3. The tackle by Thomas, that moves the chains.
Other guy in this running back room that we're likely not going to see today is number 27, Gavin Sawchuk, who really talented last year as a true freshman. Just been banged up in camp.
And Barnes this time lassoed down from behind. That was Micah Bland. Stop him at the 39. Tyree Walker checks back in. Interesting year in the Big 12 this year with Oklahoma and Texas competing in the league for the last time, plus the new 4 programs that are part of the conference. Free play for Dylan Gabriel. He knows it and heaves one deep. Fighting deep down the field, and pass interference coming on Andrell Anthony as he tried to break open. And he was held in check.
The speed of Andrell Anthony. Dylan Gabriel not able to get that ball far enough downfield to complete the pass.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Offside, number 25. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 5. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that was Kieron Crawford, who jumped the line of scrimmage, and then Dante Thompson, a reserve cornerback.
The ball underthrown. Anthony doesn't have an opportunity to even come back for the football. A lot of hand fighting. So in that situation, if you're a quarterback, you want to give your receiver a chance. Sometimes underthrowing, you can help force those pass interference penalties.
Gabriel, a toss sweep, and Barnes to the edge, brought down near the 40. It's a gain of 6.
Walter Roust, left tackle, the transfer from Stanford, did a really nice job getting out front for Javonte Barnes. Oklahoma's gone with a bigger personnel grouping during this drive. A lot of 2 tight ends, and they have made a point to run the football here on this one.
Travion Thomas banged up for Arkansas State. Mentioned OU and Texas last year in the Big 12. Big game coming up next weekend in Tuscaloosa. An SEC preview.
Who are they playing there in Tuscaloosa?
That'll be UT and Alabama.
I mean, that's a massive game.
Coach Sarkisian trying to turn things around in Austin.
A lot of people high on this Texas team coming into this year. Offensively, they should be excellent.
Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo. There you see Bama at number 4. They'll get Middle Tennessee on SEC Network in primetime tonight at 7:30 Eastern. And then Texas lurking just outside of that top 10 at number 11. A lot of people think that the Longhorns may have the firepower to go in and do some damage, and they nearly pulled off the upset in Austin last year, remember.
There's people in Austin that feel like if Quinn Ewers doesn't get hurt in that game, they had a really good chance to win it. Offensively, the firepower that they've got coming back, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell comes over from Georgia to be sort of that other piece. Alabama is interesting, though. Jalen Milroe gets the start at quarterback this week, but that quarterback job, that three-way competition between Ty Simpson and Tyler Buckner, still open for the Crimson Tide, it feels like.
We were there for the spring game in April. I feel like Ty Simpson will factor in there sooner rather than later, but Milroe, he's got all kinds of ability. Can he put it together for 4 quarters tonight or even next week against Texas?
There's a lot of talk about Alabama going back to smash mouth running the football.
You buying that?
I don't know, man.
More reasons to watch. Barnes bottled up, spun down. He'll lose a couple. It's a loss of 4. Thurman Gathers got there, number 92.
It was really aggressive by Gathers out on the perimeter of that defense on the edge, beating the block of the counter coming from the backside. Forces a 3rd and long for Oklahoma.
Red Wolves in desperate need of a stop. Gabriel, quick strike. Needed 8, and Freeman stays in bounds. He tiptoed near side. That'll move the chains. And missed tackle by Thomas was critical.
These slots have been really hard to wrangle in the open field. Dylan Gabriel has been decisive in this game early on, and his receivers have made Arkansas State's defense pay.
Sooners will slow it down. A perfect 4-for-4 start on 3rd down.
Yes.
Walker into the red zone, stopped at the 20. Gain of 11. Tawee Walker has been impressive early.
And Austin Stogner, the tight end, who was at Oklahoma, transferred back in from South Carolina, had a nice block on that last play.
In this game, 2 players came back to their previous schools after both playing at South Carolina a year ago. Stogner for the Sooners, and we told you already about Corey Rucker for Arkansas State.
And that tight end position feels like the biggest question mark for Oklahoma. Had an excellent tight end last year, Braden Willis, who did everything for them, pass game, run game. And now we've got player down.
.140 to go in a fast-moving first quarter. Malik Straker being looked at. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow night, there's only one college football game on the schedule, and it's a top 10 matchup over on ABC. Number 5 LSU, 8th-ranked Florida State. The Camping World kickoff game in Orlando. Coverage starts 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. LSU a slight favorite, and of course wanting to exact revenge after what happened last year down in New Orleans.
Yeah, they are. This is obviously Brian Kelly's 2nd year. It's a lot different than when they met last time. Got questions about that LSU corner room. Florida State really good at the cornerback position. Keon Coleman coming over from Michigan State. Johnny Wilson, first team All-ACC last year. Got some real weapons around Jordan Travis, who's a Heisman Trophy contender. So I am interested to see if LSU defensively on the perimeter can hold up against Florida State. And conversely, can Florida State hold up on the inside against a really talented defensive front for LSU?
One new name to watch, Keon Coleman for Florida State, the transfer from Michigan State. Barnes off right tackle. It'll be 3rd down. And another name, in case you missed the memo, Harold Perkins, the incredible linebacker for the Bayou Bengals.
Well, high-end talent on defense. Jared Verse for Florida State could be a top 10 pick this year. Harold Perkins for LSU could be a top 10 pick next year. Some real ball players. But Mason Smith, the big defensive tackle, out for LSU.
3rd down and 3. Barnes bullies his way for a 1st down. Oklahoma already with over 200 yards of total offense and a 3-touchdown lead.
Javonte Barnes only listed at 204. He brought all of it to that collision with Sam Graham.
1st down and goal. And the Sooners want more here in our first quarter. Play action, Gabriel back corner and out of bounds, just his 2nd incompletion. Jalil Farouk, the intended target. Leon Jones in coverage.
Well, Oklahoma has made it a point to establish the run on this drive. The one-on-ones on the perimeter, though, out there between the receiver and their corners, off of that run, they've decided to go to that a lot.
Gabriel in the flats to the pylon for the touchdown. Gavin Freeman, the former walk-on, a standout in our first 15 minutes, his second touchdown of 2023.
What a game for Gavin Freeman so far. I love the decision making that Dillon Gabriel has shown in this game so far. He's been accurate. He's been decisive. Feels like he's seeing things really well here in year 2 in this Jeff Lebby offense.
Now, Jalil Farouk said this week, Gavin Freeman always brings the heat. And Roddy, they gave him the nickname Chief Freaky. Offsides on Arkansas State.
Offside, defense number 18, half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
You weren't ready for that one.
I was not. It's the second time we've seen that for Arkansas State. No, how can you get ready for a G Freaky drop? He's been getting jiggy in this game.
So in less than a quarter, Gavin Freeman has doubled his touchdown total of his Oklahoma career. Sooner for life. Another reason why OU's receivers are looked upon in a different light, it feels like, this fall.
Look at the alignment of Travion Thomas. He's almost at the goal line. There's so much space between him and Gavin Freeman there in the slot to the top. He's got so much ground to cover. Freeman just a quick little flat route, and the speed beats Travion Thomas to the pylon, but the alignment of the safety is what made that tough. It makes his job really, really difficult, especially on a quick pass by Oklahoma. Nice design by Jeff Lebby. Good execution by Freeman and Gabriel.
He's touched the football 4 times, over 100 yards. That punt return for a touchdown, and 2 scores on the resume.
It's a good day's work, but we're still in the first quarter.
28-0. Zach Schmidt sends it deep again. 5 yards into the end zone. Don't forget, all season long, student sections across the country are competing to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. 146 consecutive sellouts before today, looking for number 147. The student section turned out in droves almost 2 hours before kickoff. You love to see it, and it's another reminder, college football is back. The atmosphere, the pageantry returns. We can't get enough of it.
I gotta tell you, and this place feels like what college football should feel like when you look it up in the dictionary.
JT Shrout flings one incomplete. Foreman in the area, and Shrout off target. JT just 3 of 9 to start this one for 38 yards, the transfer from Colorado.
And a lot of those incompletions coming on first down, which puts you obviously at 2nd and 10. His receiver, Jeff Foreman, fell during that route. There was a lot of space there, but ended up on the ground, and when he got up, the ball was coming his way. Not able to track it and wrangle it in.
Red Wolves do have a history of springing upsets against Big 12 foes. In fact, their last meeting against a Big 12 team back in 2020, an upset in Manhattan against Kansas State. There's a hit, and down he goes behind the 20. Gentry Williams on Jacquez Cross, and a big-time flex for the Sooners.
Gentry Williams just sees a gap inside the receiver and does a really nice job of not only making the tackle, but doing it in a way that is physical, that is tough, but that is legal, Roy. Keep that head out and absolutely drill the running back.
What would best be described as a perfect start. The Palace on the Prairie. Number 20, Oklahoma, and Dylan Gabriel dropping dimes. And the defense has stood tall with Drake Stoops and Gavin Freeman getting it done early. Here in Norman, Oklahoma, you're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, the place to be. Week 1 college football. And a packed house on hand. Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor. College football's triumphant return in 2023. Third down and long, start of our second quarter. The score tells the story. J.T. Shrout. A couple of pump fakes into the turf. 3 and out for the Red Wolves. And Oklahoma defensively, look, there's questions coming into this fall after last season. 15 minutes in. We understand the opponent and the scene here today, but a good start nonetheless.
Yeah, the only thing that's really cost this defense is the personal foul penalties. But it has been a really good start. And on that last play, Jonah Laulu, excuse me, did a great job of snuffing out the screen and not giving J.T. Shrout anywhere to throw the ball.
Christoph back on to punt. Turns it over beautifully. Freeman retreating all the way back to the 20. He's got to track it down. Waiting the convoy. And another spin and almost broke that one. Jack Bullard, the long snapper, credited with a stop after a 73-yard punt and a 22-yard return. Now, Brent Venables defensively, you go back to his time in Clemson, and there was a decade where nobody did it at a higher level.
There was, but it wasn't all sunshine and roses that first year. Look at what he did in that first season versus the rest of his time at Clemson, and it got so much better. And it's because Brent Venables' defense is about 5 different defenses rolled into one. I mean, he has been working this thing for years
and that's years. On one possession, by the way.
Exactly. But their ability to be multiple is what makes them great. Their ability to play fast and aggressive is what makes them really, really tough to defend. And that Clemson defense got to the point where no matter what personnel they were in, was it 4 down? Was it a sort of a 3-3-5 look? Was it going to be great with pass rushers? Was it going to be stout up the middle, great corners? It didn't matter where the strength of that defense lied. It was Brent Venables played to it. And the understanding of that, I think, is where they make the biggest step here at Oklahoma in 2023.
Travion Thomas helped off the field for Arkansas State for the second time. 28-0 our score. Dylan Gabriel remains on the field. The left-hander tosses one short. As we check in with T-Mac.
We also have not seen Sammy Johnson return, the corner who was injured earlier in this game. Arkansas State head athletic trainer Eric Enos telling me it's a neck injury. He's questionable to return. And guys, that's tough. He's one of the team's best cover corners.
Petaway caught the last pass. Barnes over the right side for a gain of 6, and that will be another OU first down. And the pace is back. Gabriel with all afternoon into Arkansas State territory. LV Bunkley Shelton. A couple of receptions last year. The junior from Compton, California, the Arizona State transfer. The first catch this fall.
The competitive depth that Brent Venables has talked about. Receiver is one of those positions where you're going to see it the most. They felt like the receivers were playing too many plays last year. There were a lot of lazy reps, a lot of tired reps. Not necessarily lazy, but tired reps last season. But the rotation that they have, they feel really good about, which means you'll get fresh, crisp routes all the time.
Competitive depth. I think we heard that phrase 9 or 10 times yesterday sitting in Coach Venables' office. Tawee Walker keeps the play alive. Bowls his way after a 9-yard pickup right over James Reed III. But the competitive depth, Roddy, a potential difference maker where Stutzman doesn't wear down late in games. The OU linebackers are able to stay fresher, longer, deeper into the schedule.
And Jeff Levy pointed at Jalil Farouk, particularly on the offensive side of the football, when talking about the competitive depth offensively, said that he played 80-90 plays because of the tempo, but this year they like to scale that back.
Ethan Hassler, the injured Arkansas State player, as we step aside in Norman.
You know how you know you're having a good day, Roy? When you have as many touchdown passes as incompletions. Dillon Gabriel has been really sharp in this game. He's been decisive. Biggest thing, he's been really accurate. Not only has he delivered accurate passes to his receivers, but they've been able to do something with the ball after they catch it. Whether it's rolling, the way that the pass is going, able to make a guy miss. Dillon Gabriel's been sharp.
You know, he told us this week it was an unsettling feeling how the Cheez-It Bowl ended against Florida State. We aim to change that this year. Back shoulder toss, and there it is. Jaden Gibson. First down and goal for OU.
It's about as perfect as you can get on a back shoulder. How about the body control by Gibson going up, snagging it, and bringing it down?
Right over Leon Jones on the very next play. A touchdown for the Sooners. 34-0. Tyree Walker with the honors this time. 4 possessions for Oklahoma. 4 touchdown drives, all 70 yards or longer.
They've really had their way. When they decided they wanted to run the football, they've been able to do that. They've taken shots downfield and hit those, whether they be wide open or contested catches. The slots have done damage, both pre-catch in their route running and after making the catch. Some yak yardage. It's just been all Sooners here early in this one.
Gabriel already over 200 yards through the air. Already 2 touchdown tosses.
And how many receivers' names have we called? Jaden Gibson, just a go route. Get down the sideline, go make a play. Dillon Gabriel's got an option, got a man open down the middle of the field as well, but gives Gibson a chance. It's perfectly placed. Leon Jones just outside of his outstretched arm reach. Jaden Gibson makes a fantastic catch, and then Tyree Walker plows in there. Offensive line's done a nice job in short yardage situation. Honestly, I'm not sure there's anything that you can say about Oklahoma offensively that isn't complimentary. Offensive line has lived up to the billing so far. They protected Dillon Gabriel. They've been able to run the football. Dillon Gabriel has been incredibly sharp. And he's been sharp in the pocket, Roy, which is something that they wanted him to do more of this season.
And we think back to what offensive coordinator Jeff Levy told us this week. Key number 1 for us, we want to spread the football around on Saturday. 8 different players have caught passes. Dillon Gabriel spreading the wealth, to say the least. No, mission accomplished, and we still have a lot of football left to be played here in Norman. It's time now for today's weekend lineup, brought to you by Wendy's Beef. And I want to talk about big games. We've got them. ESPN Networks following us today over on ABC, Boise State and Washington. From Seattle, UMass and Auburn, the debut of Hugh Freeze in the SEC. We know what's coming later tonight in the Queen City, the Battle of the Carolinas.
I'm interested to see how Texas A&M lives up to their top 25 billing. Bobby Petrino taking over as the offensive coordinator there. Jimbo Fisher giving up play calling duties.
Is he, though?
Yeah, I feel like you don't get Bobby Petrino in the building without actually giving him up. But we'll see. We'll see how that thing goes.
Manny Stevenson, the intended target for J.T. Shroud.
You know, J.T. Shroud is a guy that has a lot of top-end talent, but he does look like a guy where the timing's just not quite there. Taylor told you earlier that he was just named QB1 a few weeks ago. Spent the spring at Colorado before getting here in the summer, and to be honest, it's kind of looked like it so far in this one.
4 of 12, make it 4 of 13. Corey Rucker did not help out as quarterback as we check in again with Matt Berry in the studio.
All right, gentlemen, checking in on Michigan. J.J. McCarthy having a day, perhaps as expected here. Roman Wilson, second time they've connected today. It is all Michigan, 20-0 in the seconds.
The American Athletic Conference on the road there. The big house Stroud, dangerous toss, and the pass is caught. Courtney Jackson running into Oklahoma territory. The longest play of the day for Arkansas State. And a gain of 47. Right past Woody Washington. Zach Wallace straight ahead. Kanik the stop. First time we've called his name today after a gain of 2.
On the third down play, Jaron Kanik, the middle linebacker, is asked to get out under that route, but he's coming from lined up right over the center. And so as he sprints out, Stroud does a nice job of getting it just over him. And Courtney Jackson up the seam. It's good identification by JT Stroud. Jaron Kanik just not quite able to get his depth quickly enough.
Yeah, Kanik and Stutzman anchoring those linebacking corps with Justin Harrington. Stroud will buy a little bit of time and fling it. A modest pickup to Adam Jones, his first catch.
Arkansas State with a little bit of momentum. They converted that big third down with a little bit of tempo. We've more seen them as a huddle team so far in this one. But JT Stroud, a couple of good passes. Another big third down.
Coach Jones told us last night they want a varied tempo. To the end zone contact. And no flag. Reagan Ely, the intended receiver. Billy Bowman all over him.
This coverage by the safety. Billy Bowman, a guy that they are really excited about down the field. I don't think that rises to the level of pass interference. The ball was a little inside, a little far. So I don't mind the missed call. Or the no call, excuse me.
Second field goal attempt coming from Dominic Zavada. Missed from 44 earlier in the half. This one from 38. They're going to back it up.
68, 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Dominic Zavada, kicker for Arkansas State, missed only 1 field goal a year ago. It was a Luke Rosa semifinalist, so that miss earlier was pretty startling. Job just made harder by his offensive line, moving him back 5 yards.
It was 17 of 18. Career long of 56. Now from 43, just inside the right hash on the way. And I don't think so. .10:38 to go in the half. Butch Jones pouring his team to hang tight. Well, on this Saturday afternoon, our thoughts and prayers are with the Venables family. After we found out earlier this summer, Julie Venables, wife of OU head coach Brent Venables, has been diagnosed with cancer. Coach Venables made the announcement at the start of camp last month after Julie underwent successful surgery. And in fact, she's getting ready for chemotherapy this month as her fight with her family continues. And our thoughts with the 2 daughters, Lainey and Addie, Jake and Tyler, who have been there with mom from the beginning. And Roddy, a nice show by Sooner Nation today here in Norman, wearing pink to show their support for Julie Venables' continued courageous fight against cancer.
It was really touching to talk to Brent Venables about his wife Julie's battle, ongoing battle, what it means for everybody, especially for him.
Gabriel going deep. Nick Anderson, back-to-back plays. 1st and goal, Oklahoma.
Seemed like everybody on that side of the field was wide open for Oklahoma and Dylan Gabriel, but not, once again, Nick Anderson, they've got a lot of high hopes for. Makes a big catch.
Straight ahead goes Major. And Tim Hardiman bottle him up after a 1-yard gain.
Last play down the field. Dylan Gabriel looking at Anderson all the way, wide open down the field. Anderson almost breaks the tackle. How pretty is that deep ball, though? Great shot by our crew. Tight spiral, drops it right in the bucket. Makes me feel like I could catch one of those down the field.
I bet you could.
I don't know. I didn't have the greatest hands.
Along the right side, to the pylon for another touchdown, Marcus Major. Penalty marker is out as well as Major scores for the second time this afternoon.
Holding. Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
So you mentioned Tyler Guyton earlier, former defensive lineman, TCU, and now they think he can be a first-round draft pick at offensive tackle here at Oklahoma. The guilty party that time.
Yeah, but they feel like he has first-round type potential. A guy 6'7", 327 pounds there on the edge of your screen gets called for the hold, but the athleticism that he shows, honestly, I didn't think there was a lot to that.
Second penalty on number 60 in crimson and cream, by the way.
Yeah, at least not initially. You know, he obviously has his hand outside. I mean, I don't hate it. I didn't see a lot to that.
Gabriel will buy a little time. He can scramble. Shoved out inside the 5. What did you call him earlier in terms of quarterback as a runner?
He's a begrudging runner, but very capable. Doesn't want to run. It's not his first, his second, or even his third instinct. But when he runs, he always surprises you at his ability to escape oncoming rushers. That time Ethan Hassler did a nice job, number 32, creating some pressure. Dylan Gabriel able to escape.
Kieron Crawford, the injured Red Wolf player, after a gain of 10 by Dylan Gabriel. I asked him about that and just in terms of his willingness to run, and he said, I'll do it. I feel like I can do it at a reasonable level, but there's a reason we have running backs on our roster. They like to run it more than I do.
That's why I said begrudging. He certainly can do it, but not necessarily something that he loves doing. Did a nice job of flashing it in the bowl game last year, and you saw right there, hasn't needed to use his legs very much. See Crawford get up, but they've rolled him out on this drive in the first completion. Nick Anderson did a nice job on a little rollout. The mobility, definitely a big piece of his game, and it has to be a big piece of the game of a modern quarterback.
Well, Nick Anderson quickly the leading receiver for those 2 catches. 2 grabs for 68 yards, all that coming on this possession. Freshman from Katy, Texas, has been electric in Nick Anderson. Brother Rodney, of course, played at OU in the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals. Gabriel again will buy some time and a touchdown.
Call that a nifty little run there, Roy. Gabriel drops back, doesn't see anything to his left, doesn't see anything in the middle, nothing to his right. Do I have to run? Yeah, okay, I'll do it. You know what? I'll put it in the end zone, too.
Call me crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if Jackson Arnold's getting loose on the sidelines.
You know, I would not either. But it's still so early in the game that you want your quarterback, your starting quarterback, to get as many of these live reps as possible. But they're a big-time freshman on the sideline that they want to see as well, Roy.
Dylan Gabriel has thrown for 2 scores. He's run for another one just moments ago. Almost 300 yards passing. Still early. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Zales. Sunsplash Saturday afternoon, Norman, Oklahoma. Palace on the Prairie, packed with Sooner Nation once again. 42-0. Not even halfway through our second quarter. Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor. Zach Schmidt has been active. He's been perfect so far. Kicked a lot of extra points. Send another one deep for a touchback out to the 25. Time for another edition of Taylor's Tidbits. Taylor.
This one is all about Justin Harrington, a captain here at OU, originally recruited to OU at the end of 2019 as the nation's top junior college safety, but shortly after arriving on campus, had to undergo knee surgery and missed the entire 2020 season. The following year, he switched positions, but really struggled to find a role, appeared in just 4 games, but did not record a single stat. Following that year, he decided to completely walk away from football. It wasn't until Brent Venables entered the picture in spring of 2022 that he asked for another opportunity with the team, and Venables said yes, but you will walk on. Last fall, he appeared in 13 games, did not start, and then this summer, guys, he was put on scholarship, named a team captain, and today is his first start. So quite a story of perseverance, and he means a ton to this defense as they try to flip the script from what happened a year ago.
It's an incredible story of a guy who, I mean, Brent Venables said he quit on his team the year prior to coming back. And Brent Venables didn't let him back on right when he first asked. He had players coming and telling him, hey, look, I think we should give this guy a second chance. Let him in at the end of spring last year. Played the last week of spring. Wasn't a big contributor this year, but coming out of camp, Justin Harrington was the best player on that defense, according to the people around the program.
Just made the stop, number 4, Cripson and Crean, after a gain of 4. Brent Venables loves a good redemption story, and Justin Harrington certainly symbolic of a lot of battles that Brent Venables has fought and won over the years as a coach and off the field. And those two pretty tight, to say the least. 3rd down and 2. Off of play action. And stopped short. Jaron Kanak brought down Manny Stevenson on the 2nd attempt by the OU defense.
You could see the speed that the middle linebacker, Jaron Kanak, has on that play. Big time athlete there in the middle of the field. Covered a lot of ground to get out there and make the tackle.
Gavin Freeman, G. Freaky. Dropping back deep. William Pristup. His 4th punt of the afternoon after the 3rd 3-and-out for the Red Wolves offense. And Freeman from the 14-yard line calls for the fair catch. And now a quick word from Cheez-It.
I'm RG3Z. See you next time. Hey, who changed my name to RG3Z?
Me? It's a great combo. Like college football and Cheez-It. You like?
You cheddar believe it.
And how will college football fans feel?
They're gonna be feeling the cheesiest! Woo!
Robert Griffin III getting cheesy with it.
We're going to see RG3Z here in a little bit. He's got them. That crew's got the Boise State Washington game.
It'll be a good game to see what Michael Penix looks like against that Boise State secondary and defense in Seattle. That'll be over on ABC at 3:30 Eastern. Penix, I think, is a dark horse for the Heisman. Washington, a program that, in a strange enough year where the Pac-12 is going away after this season, at least it feels that way, it may be its strongest version of itself in a long, long time. And the Huskies are right there in that mix to win a title in the conference.
You certainly expect the conference to be fantastic. All the teams that got in the top 25, Heisman Trophy winner returning.
Blake Smith, look out. Ushered out near the 44. Sam Graham was there after a gain of 28.
Blake Smith coming in from Texas A&M. And there's a big opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, at that receiver position. We've seen Austin Stogner, seen Blake Smith, both make plays here today.
You asked Jeff Levy, too, about Stogner and what he could bring to the table and maybe more of a run blocker. And he was quick to suggest, no, we expect to use Austin Stogner in the passing game this year now that he's back in Norman for that 1 year in the SEC at South Carolina.
You know, I think the tight end position, I think they'll be fine in terms of receptions. I want to see what they do in the run game, because that's where Braden Willis was so good last year.
Gabriel heaves one deep again. Anthony is there, drugged down, and that's going to be pass interference on Justin Hodges. Well, Anthony can certainly take the top off a defense. 5 has been down the field deep. A couple of plays today. 3 flags flew on what is going to be a defensive penalty on numeral 0.
You're not going to end up on Sports Center.
Pass interference, defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. Automatic, first down.
Not going to end up on Sports Center because of the pass interference. And if you're, Roy, it counts 15 yards no matter how much you interfere. So I'm going to interfere the most interference possible. I am going to get my money's worth. And I like the tack by Justin Hodges.
The amazing thing there was the football still hit him right in the heart of the 5.
Right.
When he was on his backside 60 yards down the field.
But if I've got my arms wrapped around both of your arms, you can't make the tackle.
That's correct. Barnes back in at running back for OU. Little trickeration. And on the reverse, Gavin Freeman bottled up down to T-Mac.
Dasan McCullough, guys, quick update on him. We have not seen him. He's on the sideline with a boot on his left ankle. I'm told questionable to return. And then also Drake Stoops on the sideline without his jersey on and a sling on his shoulder. And I'm told questionable for him as well.
Yeah, Drake Stoops had a couple of early receptions.
False start.
McCullough.
Offense number 59. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
It was a really close competition at the cheetah spot. And Brent Venables' defense, and Ted Roof, the defensive play caller, going back to the spring, and McCullough probably had the inside track early before Harrington emerged in preseason camp.
They just talked about how much Justin Harrington grew from that spring to the fall and really clearly separated himself in the fall. They feel really good about that position with both of those guys healthy.
We are expecting the debut of the 5-star quarterback, number 1 dual threat quarterback in the country, Jackson Arnold. We semi-expected to see him maybe in this first half today, but Brent Venables, Jeff Lebby electing to keep him on the sideline for now. Dylan Gabriel gets his rhythm going and already 400 yards of offense. And for Jackson Arnold, Venables said something to us I don't know that I've ever heard him say about a first-year guy. He's one of the most humble and confident people you could ever be around.
It's an interesting needle to thread. I am both humble and confident because that confidence shines through.
Straight ahead, Javante Barnes. Stopped short of the red zone. It was Straker that brought him down, a gain of 17 more.
I think the way you do that, Roy, when you're a 5-star coming in, you're humble enough to know, hey, I don't deserve to be the starter right now, but you're confident in your abilities to get the job done.
Quick toss of Petaway. Back to Matt Berry in the studio. Matt, good afternoon.
All right, guys, checking in on TCU and Colorado. The Alabama transfer Trey Sanders finds his way into the end zone, ties it up at 14 apiece. Got a good one out there in Fort Worth.
Coach Prime getting it done early. TCU's about a 3-touchdown favorite there. Barnes probing around the right side. On second down, will gain a couple.
I like TCU a lot this year. I think they did a great job in the portal. Trey Sanders being one of those portal additions. So I'm a little surprised, and maybe it shows us more about Colorado and their ability to hold up in the trenches. But Coach Prime making it close, at least so far.
There's going to be a lot of headlines if Colorado goes into the Metroplex and upsets a team that played for a national championship a year ago. What a shot that would be right out of the gate. 3 penalty markers come in. Marcus Major was stopped by Ethan Hassler, and we'll check the infraction. Now, busy first half for this veteran crew led by Jonathan Noley. 6 touchdowns on the board for Oklahoma, and they are driving for another one before halftime.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense. Number 32. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
And it was Hassler.
He was told to leave the field because his helmet came off during it. He just reaches out and grabs the face mask of Marcus Major. Once again, getting his money's worth. But it would have set up a 3rd and long for Oklahoma. Instead, they get a first down. This Arkansas State defense is shooting itself in the foot.
Now, the Red Wolves, certainly one of the better teams, if not the best team in the Sun Belt for about a 10-year period, cycling through coaches like Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze, Blake Anderson. Just won a championship in the Mountain West at Utah State 2 seasons ago. And Butch Jones coming to Jonesboro with a rebuild. Inherited a roster that had a lot of junior college players. He's high on his culture. Doing it the right way. He feels like they're going to be improved this year after 5-19 start in his first 2 seasons. Barnes stopped by Crawford after a gain of 2.
And it's an incredibly young roster. Only 11 seniors on this roster. Butch Jones told us it's the 3rd youngest roster in the entire country. They've had to figure things out. They want to do it through recruiting. They're going to obviously supplement with transfer portal guys, but this is a team that's had the #1 recruiting class in the Sun Belt for 2 straight years. But all those guys are still really young.
Stogger in motion. He'll serve as the lead blocker in that H-back role. Potter with the tackle on Barnes. Less than 2 to go in our first half. One that's been dominated by the nation's #20th ranked Oklahoma Sooners.
And Roy, this game, this first half has felt for Oklahoma kind of like it's supposed to feel, like they expect it to feel here in Norman. Explosive offense, incredible skill, great quarterback play, a defense that'll get after you.
That wasn't enough. Perfection on 3rd down. Delayed handoff. Barnes. Good job defensively by Tim Hardiman. It'll be 4th and goal, and the first time that OU's been stopped on 3rd down today.
And the question is whether or not they will go for it. And much to the dismay of this Oklahoma crowd, they send out the field goal unit. But look,
we're getting greedy.
Everyone needs work here in the first week of the year. Let's get your kicker Zach Schmidt out there and have him kick one against an opposing team.
21-yard effort just inside the right hash. You love fans. It's why we have the jobs that we do.
I love the fans.
So passionate. Zach Schmidt, 12 of 18 last year. 1 for 1 to start 2023. 45-0. Less than a minute to go in our first half. Butch Jones and Arkansas State will get the football back after this.
I'm Matt Berry. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report, the much anticipated debut of Coach Prime in Colorado. Locked in a good one against TCU. We'll have highlights of that. Plus, #2, Michigan rolling behind J.J. McCarthy. And we'll get you set for the big one tonight. North Carolina, South Carolina. Dan Mullen and Joey Galloway join me. Coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
Matt Berry, thank you very much. Can't wait to hear from you guys, Coach and Joey Galloway. I haven't talked to Joey since our XFL ventures this past spring.
Yeah.
Glad to see him doing well and talk a little college football today. Puts a smile on my face.
Speaking of XFL, Bob Stoops in the building today.
The champion. We congratulated him. The Arlington Renegades title this spring in the XFL. Our featured college football games on ESPN Plus later today. How about the #1 Dogs looking for the 3-peat against the Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin? It's at 6 Eastern. You got Southeast Missouri State at K-State, defending champs of the Big 12. For Big 12 now on ESPN Plus with Texas State and Baylor later tonight. To get ESPN Plus, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app.
Kansas State hasn't been talked a ton about.
They are never talked about.
It's like Utah. You know, they just win the league and we don't talk about them. Although that Utah team, once they get healthy, they're going to be scary based on what we saw on Thursday.
Big win against the Florida Gators out in Salt Lake. Kyle Whittingham under the radar. He's just fine with that. Their last year in the Pac-12 before moving over to the Big 12 next year. Conference realignment has been quite active, even as recently as yesterday when we found out SMU, Stanford, and Cal all headed to the ACC next season as well. Halftime in Norman, Oklahoma 6 possessions, 6 scoring drives, all consisting of 70 yards or more. 437 yards of total offense. Let's get you to the studio right now. Matt Berry, Joey Galloway, Coach Mullen. Guys, take it away. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Zales. Now in the afternoon in Norman, Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, 45-0. #20 OU leading Arkansas State out of the Sun Belts. And the crowd on hand very happy with what they've seen up to this point in time. Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor on the sideline. It is hot outside. The Oklahoma offense has been hotter with everything we saw in the first 2 quarters. And really, close to perfection in the first half of football for OU.
Well, I mean, they have been hitting on all cylinders. 9 different receivers have caught a pass. 5 different guys have scored touchdowns. They've had a punt return for a touchdown as well. Dylan Gabriel has been magnificent. It's really gone according to plan for Brent Venables in his second year here in Norman.
An impressive start for number 20 Oklahoma, and boy, the highlights you can pick from all kinds of different possibilities. In that first quarter, they scored 28 points. Dylan Gabriel, Drake Stoops, and a handful of others, including the Michigan transfer, Arnell Anthony.
We heard a lot about the depth in this receiving core, and we've seen it today. Drake Stoops, Andrell Anthony getting on the board. Jaden Gibson down the field had a nice catch. Dylan Gabriel's gotten in on the action with his legs as well. We've seen Gavin Freeman score a couple of times in this game. The sophomore, former walk-on. It has been just a display of efficiency from this Oklahoma offense.
437 total yards, just a $106 for Arkansas State. And moments ago, T-Mac talking with Coach Venables.
Thanks, Roy. Coach, a lot of impressive things offensively in the first half. At what point will we see Jackson Arnold?
Soon. Really soon.
How soon is that?
Sooner rather than later.
How do you utilize this second half when your team has a 45-0 advantage?
Yeah, again, handle. We said it's going to be a 3.5-hour game, and that's what we want to see our guys play with incredible effort for 3.5 hours, not a 2-hour game. So, a challenge. See what type of maturity we have as a football team, the hunger, the drive. We got a lot to improve on, a lot to get better at. Today's been a good day so far, but it's not going to be a good day if we don't finish the second half the right way.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Roy?
T-Mac, thank you. Danny Stutzman, the tackle on first down. It'll be 2nd and 9 after the run by Cross.
Not at all surprised to see the starting defense back on the field. Be interesting to see if we see the starting offense as well. You want your crew to go through the halftime adjustment process, getting back onto the field and going through at least a drive here in the second half.
Cross roams across the right side. He'll probe his way for a couple. Kanik the tackle. It's a 1-yard gain, and just like that, it's 3rd and long.
Kind of a familiar place that Arkansas State has found itself today. These 3rd downs, their inability to get much on 1st and 2nd down has caused them a ton of 3rd and longs.
Red Wolves have Memphis in week 2 next Saturday. Stroud with time, wants to go long. Man-to-man coverage and incomplete. Woody Washington blanketed Corey Rucker. 3 and out for Arkansas State.
Trace Ford on the edge ended up winning his pass rush battle. Ford, one of the, if not the best edge rusher. Really good job of bending the edge, creating pressure.
4th time the OU defense is forced to 3 and out. It'll be Bunkley Shelton back deep to receive this William Pristup punt. Took Oklahoma 3 plays on its first possession to reach the end zone. Gavin Freeman with a punt return for a touchdown. He caught another one in the first half. Former walk-on already with 2 scores this year. T-Mac, what did Butch Jones have to say about his team's performance so far?
Well, he said, listen, we have a decision to make at half. We can either feel sorry for ourselves or we can learn from this experience. And he said it takes a mental disposition to come on the road, play against the physical Oklahoma team. And guys, I think I know what that cheering means. I'll get back to you.
The debut of the 5-star, Jackson Arnold, number 10 in crimson and cream, and here we go. Marcus Major straight ahead. Jackson Arnold, the number 1 dual threat quarterback in the country, and boy, he can do it all out of Guyer High School.
He certainly can. He's ESPN's number 1 quarterback. He's got the ability to pick him up and put him down with the best of them, an element that we see Dylan Gabriel do some. Jackson Arnold is a guy that's going to bring enhanced mobility at some point down the line, but his ability to throw the ball and his innate accuracy is what's really impressed early in his career. Jeff Levy told us he has never seen a guy as a freshman take the meeting room to the field, to the practice field, as quickly and easily as Jackson Arnold. And while they've got a good one in Dylan Gabriel to start, they're excited about the future.
Could be a free play. Arnold knows it, goes long and incomplete. Sam Graham jumped the line as Farouk was the intended receiver.
Offside, defense number 32. 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Maybe my favorite quote of the week in talking with Jeff Lebby. He said Jackson Arnold has a ton of arm.
Yeah, we saw it there. When you've got a ton of arm and you're getting your first college experience with all the adrenaline and the nerves, it's no surprise he overthrew that ball by 5-6 yards.
And Brent Venables said he's not going to play like a third-year player. He's going to make his share of mistakes. Petaway with the grab. That'll move the chains and a gain of 10 on 3rd and 2. But he's got high expectations for him, it sounded like, in our conversations this season.
And look, competitive depth is something that they've talked about everywhere. Think about the game that Dylan Gabriel didn't play last year. They got shut out against Texas because of the lack of competitive depth at the quarterback position. So if nothing else, Jackson Arnold gives you that.
Josh Fanuel move around, serve as the H-back for Major. And Marcus Major. Gain of 2. If you're Oklahoma, right, by design, you want to slow things down a little bit in this second half just to keep that clock moving, I would think.
Yes, there's no need for them to go lightning speed. Some of it's also making sure you're setting up the quarterback for the most success. A little more check with me so that you can make sure that you've got the best play call.
Yeah, I like that. UMass and Auburn coming up when we're done in Norman. The debut of Hugh Freeze on the Plains. Petaway shoved out near first down yardage. Looks like he stopped just short. It'll be 3rd down and a couple after a gain of 6. Hugh Freeze back in the SEC is something I think we can all sink our teeth into with just the offense. And he's bringing Peyton Thorne, former Michigan State starter, with him here in week 1. And that's going to be interesting, to say the least, when we're done here.
It certainly will be. But Hugh Freeze's ability to recruit at Auburn, we've seen what that place can be. You can get great players there. Interesting to see his debut.
Oklahoma getting deeper into the depth chart already. Howie Walker, fake it to him. Petaway has it, a nifty move. First down, keeps that play alive almost to the 22.
It's a quarterback-receiver combination that Oklahoma fans are going to be seeing for a number of years. They are really excited about Jacquez Petaway, the receiver. That's a packed slot position with Drake Stoops and with Gavin Freeman, but Jacquez Petaway is going to get some time there as well.
Arnold play action into the flats. LB Bunkley Shelton picks up another first down. 16 yards. His second catch of the game.
Made it pretty easy on Jackson Arnold so far on this drive. Quick dishes out to the flat, let your receivers work.
Walker keeps the play alive and stopped just short of the goal line. Elbow came down before the ball touched the plane. And Walker this time, no problem on the second attempt. Now the start of the second half, more of the same for OU.
Couldn't quite tell whether or not the knee or the elbow was down, but in a 45-0 game, putting the ball on the 1-yard line, it's not ultimately going to matter all that much.
You're okay with no booth review right there?
Absolutely.
I mean, I think those things matter in a game which the score is as lopsided as it
matters to Tyree Walker because his yards per carry has gone down, but that's about it.
My initial thought was that he crossed the plane.
I thought so too, to be honest with you. I thought that he crossed the plane, and even on the replay, I felt like
offside. Defense number 6, unabated. Half the distance to the goal, still to try.
Arkansas State. I mean, this is not the biggest thing on their menu, but they've gotten 3 penalties on extra points today. for being offside. So not going to be something that Butch Jones is satisfied with, happy with. This is a good special teams unit a year ago. They have not played like it today.
Yeah, by some metrics ranked as high as #2 overall in special teams in 2022. Oh, the pump fake on the extra point, no problem for Zach Schmidt. 34 remains perfect. Tyree Walker has scored twice today. The second time to start our second half. 52-0. It's all Boomer. Here in Norman, Oklahoma, you're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Picture perfect afternoon for college football, 52-0. And the Sooners are rolling. Year 2 under Brent Venables, 6-7 last year. They are trying to change all of that as quickly as possible in 2023. Sun blazing down. Ronnie Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor, our hardworking ESPN crew. An offseason that has been filled with conversations about realignment. It really starts here in the heart of America in the Big 12, where you've got some changes brewing. 10 members in 2022. 4 added to the mix this year: Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU. And then, of course, next year, OU and UT exit to go to the SEC. And then here come the Utes, the Buffaloes, Arizona, and Arizona State, as the seismic shift in collegiate athletics continued up until yesterday morning. What we talked about a little bit in the first half. SMU, Cal, and Stanford headed to the ACC. Second catch for Adam Jones. It's a chain mover after a gain of 14.
Wouldn't Texas and Oklahoma love to have great seasons in their last years in the Big 12? It'll make their fan bases feel a lot better about moving to the SEC.
And wouldn't the Big 12 teams love to escort both programs to the SEC with a couple of L's on the slate this year,
right?
Not
just the teams. It feels like the commissioner as well would love that. Brett Yormark a couple of weeks ago making some comments at a Texas Tech event that the Red Raiders needed to take care of the University of Texas. You got to feel like those sentiments.
He held short of Wreckham, but the thought was there.
Barely.
Courtney Jackson a catch and another first down into OU territory. Brent Venables and Ted Roof's defense pitching a shutout so far. Zach Wallace over the left side. It'll be a gain of 1. But I think that's the hidden story this year in this conference. Oklahoma has dominated the Big 12 with the 14 conference championships. You can tally up all the other league titles by every other school in the conference. They fall one short of what OU has done going back to 1996.
And Oklahoma is looking to reassert their dominance in sort of the pecking order in the conference. But Texas, the school that, you look at those conference championships, has not been nearly as successful as their rival to the north. Texas is the favorite in the preseason, and I think it's going to come down to quarterback play and how far does that defense come. Because we talked about it earlier, this defense at Oklahoma is going to make a massive step forward. Can Texas do something similar? Can they kind of get over the hump?
3rd down and 9. JT Shrout with time. Good grab on the run by Brian Sneed. Stopped 2 yards short. It'll be 4th down. Kendall Dolby forced him out short of the line to gain. And let's see.
I think if you're Arkansas State, I love going for it. You're both playing like it's 0-0 and playing like there's nothing to lose.
Officials timeout on the field for an injury.
And Kendall Dolby, injured Sooner, grabbing his left side. 4th down coming up for Arkansas State, on the move in OU territory after this injury timeout. Well, coming up Labor Day night, Durham, North Carolina, the place to be. This all-ACC affair. And right here on ESPN, of course, as well. Top 10 Clemson on the road, Wallace Wade Stadium. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Coverage starts with college football countdown at 7 Eastern as we continue week number 1. And Cade Klubnik assuming controls of that Clemson offense on a full-time basis this year. DJ Uiagalelei, of course, in Corvallis, Oregon, with the Beavers. And Riley Leonard, maybe the best-kept secret in the Atlantic Coast Conference in terms of quarterbacks that can simply get the job done, Roddy Jones.
I believe the draft experts, the #1 prospect in this game in terms of this 2024 draft, the draft coming up, is the quarterback at Duke. It's Riley Leonard.
4th down and 2 for Arkansas State. Red Wolves trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. Strout surveys and throws high and incomplete on the crosser. Rondell Bothroyd, Wake Forest transfer, providing the pressure that time to force JT Strout's hands.
Nice job with the hands of Rondell Bothroyd. Able to beat the left tackle Hamilton Hall on the pass rush. Hit the arm of JT Strout and get off the football field.
Strout 10 of 23 for 121 yards. Jackson Arnold, so far so good in the debut. Brought one of his teammates with him from Texas, Peyton Bowen. Plays in that safety spot for Ted Roof's defense.
A couple of crown jewels of that Oklahoma recruiting class. Peyton Bowen has gotten rave reviews.
Lincoln Riley recruited well here. It feels like Brent Venables maybe is taking that a step beyond what we saw here for a couple of years under Coach Riley.
Brent Venables is recruiting on the level of an SEC school. I mean, that is what he's preparing for, and his recruiting classes have suggested as much.
Arnold with time, head away, another reception. And that makes sense because Oklahoma is going into the SEC.
Yep. It's part of the reason Brent Venables, obviously the connection to Oklahoma, the success at Clemson, but his outstanding ability to recruit. I mean, he came in yesterday and was like, guys, I love recruiting. I'm excited to go talk to some recruits later today. He absolutely loves it.
Well, he postponed his meeting with us. Cade McIntyre going to pick up a first down. We were ready to meet with Coach yesterday, and he was talking to an offensive line recruit in his office for an extended period of time, and then we caught up with him a few minutes later, and he gave us some extra time, which we appreciated. But he does love recruiting. And it's funny talking with Coach Venables. There's not a lot of stationary sitting in the chair and relaxing when you talk with Coach. There's a lot of movement. There's some rubbing of the knees and talking about what's to come for this program. And it kind of gets you excited, even as a broadcaster. Petaway, a nice move and a first down. And he toasted James Reed, the third in the process, a gain of 12. Arnold, tempo, back corner, off the carom, touchdown. Jaden Gibson, right over the top of Leon Jones. How you doing?
You give the big 6'5" receiver a chance. It's a really good initial play by Leon Jones, but an unfortunate bounce off the hands. Great concentration by Jaden Gibson. Snags it well in bounds. And Jackson Arnold delivers. Touchdown pass to the big receiver.
Jackson Arnold, 8 for 8 for 102 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Gibson, originally committed to Florida, out of Winter Garden, Florida. Here in Norman, he's doing quite nicely. Thank you very much.
And the perfect start for the quarterback, the 5-star, is made enhanced by Jaden Gibson's concentration on the back end.
The Jackson Arnold era here in Oklahoma is off to a perfect start. 8 for 8 with 102 yards and 1 touchdown is the freshman quarterback. I've been studying his every move when he's come to the sideline in between series, and what I can tell you, there is a confidence about this young man of, hey, yes, I went out there and I am perfect, 8 for 8 when it comes to completions, but this is what I've meant to do. There's certainly something about him. He oozes a presence and a confidence that's real, guys.
Brent Venables told us, I think, and he said it best yesterday, one of the most humble and confident people you could ever be around. Jaquez Cross Crossing the 20, brought down there as we say hello to Matt Berry once again.
All right, gentlemen, back and forth game between TCU and Colorado. Colorado, big touchdown to start the third quarter. Here comes Chandler Morris to Jared Wiley. Good catch. 24-21, TCU with the ball, goal to go, trying to take the lead on that one. And Tennessee starting to pull away. Dylan Sampson, touchdown and celebrate. 35-3, Rocky Top.
Matt, we appreciate that update. It is great to see Virginia back on the field for the first time after the tragedy late last fall. Mac Hollins leading the team out earlier today. And Roddy will be in Charlottesville next weekend. We look forward to that trip. As Sanel Bryant went around the left side, picked up 8. Oklahoma thinks it has the football. Kenai Walker trying to rip it loose.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Oklahoma.
What a job by Kenai Walker. Just coming in after Bryant was already wrapped up. Sticks his arms in there, pulls it out. Peyton Bowen had the initial hit, was slinging him to the ground, and Kenai Walker opportunistically sweeps in and says, "I'll have that, thank you very much."
Transfer from Louisville, 26 for OU. Originally out of Sewanee, Georgia. And this is the kind of play that Brent Venables really will gravitate towards. The passion, the energy, and the ability to simply not give up in a sequence where a lot of teams, a lot of players would at the end of that play.
Yeah, first turnover for either team of the game. And Oklahoma had the weird statistical anomaly of only having recovered 4 fumbles a year ago. Just created one there.
Jackson Arnold through the line. He'll pick up a first down, a gain of 11. And the tempo even faster. Oklahoma already a 50-burger on the scoreboard. And listen, this is valuable experience. It's not great for Arkansas State fans, but for a freshman quarterback, there's no way to simulate these kinds of reps in practice, right?
No, there's not. It gives you an opportunity to play a lot, to go through different scenarios. Now you've got a sudden change scenario under your belt. Back-to-back quarterback runs. I really liked what Jackson Arnold. That was sort of a savvy run, hugging close to the lead blockers when you've got an unblocked guy on the outside to break that tackle and get some extra yardage.
Smothers. Push the pile and pick up another first down. And Dylan Smothers getting some playing time. Dylan Smothers, rather, 5'11", 190-pound freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. West Charlotte High School. And Oklahoma content to allow that clock to run down and back off the pace for a moment. 9-man box. Smothers. Dalen Smothers picks up 4 more.
It's a fine line as a coach here of wanting to get your work in.
Preseason poll.
And wanting to get your work in, and then also not wanting to embarrass your opponent. You know, there's and I think that's sort of the fine line that Brent Venables is starting to tread here, slowing it down a little bit. Because, I mean, to be honest, Oklahoma could score as many points as they wanted to today, it feels like, but slowing down the tempo, shortening the game a little bit, it's going to help.
Arnold busts through again for another touchdown.
Dylan Gabriel, 2 by air, 1 by land. Now Jackson Arnold, 1 by land and 1 by air. As it goes, continues to go well for the Oklahoma Sooners.
5 rushing touchdowns for the Oklahoma offense. One more look at Jackson Arnold after the extra point drilled by Gavin Marshall.
Little puller coming around, big Nate Anderson, a couple of pancakes. Jackson Arnold, little OU after he gets into the end zone. Gotta love that. As the true freshman comes in and has the type of day, honestly, that Dillon Gabriel had as well. We're obviously very excited about Jackson Arnold, getting to see him. But Dillon Gabriel was almost spotless today. The future, though, looks extremely bright with Jackson Arnold. And again, the depth, from a depth standpoint, you really like what this quarterback room is. But Jeff Levy made a point to us to let us know, hey, look, it can be really easy for a starting quarterback to be a little uneasy with a five-star coming in behind them, one that everybody wants to see. But Dillon Gabriel's handled extremely well, as has that man, Jackson Arnold.
Good relationship between the two. That's always important in any locker room. And don't forget, this season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, All-State make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you once again, All-State. The All-State field goal net program, that net has been up a bunch, not for field goals, but for extra points. Another touchback for Zach Schmidt. Arkansas State back on the field. Red Wolves have had several promising possessions. Only to miss a couple of field goals, one from 38, the other from 44. No gain on the play, it's second down. OU was picked third in the Big 12 preseason poll. I know we always undervalue Kansas State. TCU came out of nowhere last year. Texas was the favorite. Chris Klieman and K-State will be involved in that conversation as well. You see where Texas Tech, Joey McGuire's done a tremendous job in Lubbock. Big win against Ole Miss. The Texas Bowl closed down last year. League is pretty salty at the top, and this team could factor in all of it by the time it's all said and done. Flag on the field, two in fact. Healy was open for a moment.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 4 and number 71. Half the distance to the goal, replay second down.
Kai Butler and Brian Sneed.
Definition of a chop block: when one player is engaged up high and another player comes and blocks down low. It's just a matter of the center and the running back kind of getting to a blitzing linebacker at the same time. Pretty much the definition of a chop block. Can't high low a guy.
Second down and 23. Time for Stroud. Pass is caught. Bryant has it and was hit hard by Peyton Bowman.
You know, Roy, you were talking big picture about the Big 12. This Oklahoma team is absolutely going to be a factor down the stretch. I think from a schedule standpoint, to be quite honest, it sets up really nicely for them in the Big 12. But also, the roster's too good. The high-end talent's too good. Brent Venables, too good a coach. Jeff Levy, too good at his job on the offensive side of the football. Ted Roof and his experience, they're going to get this Oklahoma team right. And I think the expectation for this crew is to absolutely, in a Big 12 that feels very wide open, to be in that Big 12 championship game at the end of the year, as it is every year here in Oklahoma.
Well, you go back to last season. The last 4 losses by exactly 3 points. An additional loss by a single score. And the result of all of those close setbacks, I think our feeling this week is a crew that chip on the shoulder, all the cliches that you would envision after the first losing campaign in a generation, basically. All of those things apply with this team, which just means sharper focus and just a relentlessness that maybe didn't exist the way that it needed to last year. There are featured college football games on ESPN Plus later today. Number 1, Georgia hosting the Skyhawks of Tennessee Martin. That's at 6 Eastern. You got Missouri State, Kansas State, Southeast Missouri State at 7 Eastern on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, and then Texas State and Baylor down in Waco. Dave Aranda says hello. Don't forget about what he's been able to do there over the course of his career. This kind of tells the story of what OU season was like a year ago, Roddy.
It certainly does. And the thought is that the depth that they've been able to build, the familiarity with the defense helps cure some of those close losses. Brent Venables made a point to tell us, you know, we felt like we weren't great in the fourth quarter, but statistically, we went back and did the study. Statistically, it was our worst quarter throughout the season. And so they have spent the entire offseason trying to fix that first and foremost.
Yeah, he said we have the data that clearly proves it. It's not a hunch. It's not what we just saw on film. The metrics are all there, and we've got to get better. So that competitive depth, get some rest for your linebackers, your key wide receivers. The end of games you expect to be much better. Sooners over 600 yards today, including over 400 through the air. Smothers driven backwards in a TFL for the Arkansas State defense, and Sam Graham.
It's always good in these situations to be able to continue to build that depth by playing young players. And teams often get these when they play like an FCS school, but the performance early in this game against an Arkansas State team that we expect to be better this year. The performance that Oklahoma's put together should lead to a lot of optimism for the Sooner crew.
Petaway again as time winds down in our third quarter. James Reed III wrapped him up. So the 8th grab for Petaway. He's got 62 yards through the air. That one picked up 5 more.
Jacques Petaway wasn't one of these early enrollees. He wasn't there in the spring, got there in the summer, and has earned himself playing time in a really short period of time. He's been great in space. Really adds. You know, Drake Stoops left the game. He's in a sling right now. We'll see if he gets healthy, but Jacques Petaway may have a chance to play a lot early in the year, depending on how long Stoops is out.
15 minutes to go in Norman, and the debut of Jackson Arnold has been sensational. A perfect 10 for 10 through the air. He's thrown a touchdown. He's run for a touchdown. The debut here in the third quarter has been phenomenal. It is all Oklahoma in Norman. Oh, well played, sir. Thank you, Matt Berry. The start of our fourth quarter here in Norman. Number 20, Oklahoma leading Arkansas State by a bunch. Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor. And the Sooners on the move again with the backup quarterback, the 5-star phenom, Jackson Arnold, manning the controls.
Jackson Arnold still has not thrown an incomplete pass.
Is that an official Roddy Jones watch at this point?
It might as well make it. You know, I am not the biggest watch guy in this game. Butch Jones would be the biggest watch guy, but I am watching other things than he is watching.
Nice. Straight ahead, and Kieron Crawford bottles up Smothers.
You know, it's an Oklahoma team that, because of the cancellation against Georgia, they're supposed to play Georgia this year and next year because they're joining the SEC. That series got canceled. So the run-up significantly easier than they're accustomed to in the preseason. And so it's going to allow this team to kind of find its footing with some margin for error before they jump into Big 12 play. I don't know that they even imagined it would go this well today, though.
Pop pass driven backwards, and the tackle for loss all the way back near midfield by Flowers, bringing down Petaway. The schedule, as you indicated, SMU next week. Road trip to Tulsa, which is certainly going to be interesting at Chapman Stadium. The Big 12 opener in 2023 at Cincinnati. Nippert Stadium will host a Big 12 affair with Oklahoma in town.
And Scott Satterfield as the head coach. There's going to be a lot of that type of feeling over the next few seasons. This team hosts this team in this conference.
Late flag comes in. And Sujic with a face mask. Number 7 for the Red Wolves.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 7, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run. Automatic, first down.
Now, Butch Jones will have plenty to talk about with his team after this game, and we mentioned their next contest against Memphis a week from now. And Stony Brook, the competition gets more manageable. Sujic just ripped that helmet around. We've yet to see an Oklahoma punter this afternoon. We expected to see Josh Plaster. Luke Elzinga could also factor into that mix. It's been that kind of afternoon when we put up 66 points. Smothers was flattened for gain of a couple. Etienne with the stop. Over on ABC, you've got Boise State and Washington getting ready. It's a 3:30 Eastern kick up at Husky Stadium in Seattle. And the Dukes Mayo Classic later this evening. Is Roddy Jones ready to suggest an upset with South Carolina, slight underdog against North Carolina in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium?
No, I think North Carolina wins that game, despite the incredibly egregious fact that Tez Walker not eligible to play in that game with his second-time transfer waiver denied. Drake May is the best quarterback in that game. I think that defense under Gene Chizik, you look at the gross numbers and you're like, wow, that defense was terrible. Look at the ACC numbers, though, and it was much better than it was early in the year. Gene Chizik in his second year back at North Carolina calling defense for Mac Brown. I think that defense takes a step forward. I like North Carolina in the game.
7:30 ABC tonight, even without Tez Walker, which to me is egregious from an NCAA perspective. He should be granted eligibility. One more appeal will be heard next week after another appeal was denied this past week. Hicks goes straight ahead. That'll be a first down. The Tez Walker situation is just one that is hard to explain, and that could benefit South Carolina tonight without having that explosive wide receiver for the Tar Heels.
But South Carolina replacing both coordinators, offensively and defensively. What does that look like? And we haven't talked about the fact North Carolina replacing their offensive coordinator. Phil Longo off to Wisconsin, bringing the air raid to the Big Ten.
We love that, by the way, just to see what it looks like.
I think there's a thought that it's going to be wide open and throw the ball all over the place. I think Phil Longo may have 2 guys rush for 1,000 yards this season. He did it at North Carolina with Javonte Williams and Michael Carter.
Here comes another face mask infraction. Denard Flowers brought down Hicks the wrong way.
But I do think Chip Lindsey for that North Carolina offense is going to bring a physicality.
Face mask, defense, number 18, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Now the penalty is starting to mount up on Arkansas State, and I don't know that I've seen numbers that match up in that way. OU's got 36 first downs in this game. Arkansas State has run 39 plays, Roddy.
It's one of those stats that you never think you're going to be in a game where one of those pops up. And here we are. It's been total domination is probably an understatement for what it's been for Oklahoma.
Hicks to the edge. And the end zone for another OU touchdown. Caleb Hicks scores his first touchdown.
really impressed with Oklahoma's blocking on the perimeter. Their receivers have really gotten after it. You can see it on this one. Body on a body, then speed gets you there to the end zone.
Well, Oklahoma, a heavy favorite coming in. Sooners have put up 73 points. Expected to win in convincing fashion, but 73 going to turn some heads around the country. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Zales. 73-0. Less than 10 minutes to go as we take a look at today's Aflac trivia question. Oklahoma has 4 of the last 6 Big 12 Heisman winners. Who are the other 2, and where did they go?
RG3 at Baylor.
Since the start of the Big 12.
RG3 at Baylor. That's an easy one. The other one would be... Getting tripped up on the other one.
I'm thinking.
Rashawn Salam at Colorado. Would that have been pre-Big 12?
That would have been the Big 8.
That would have been a Big 8. Ricky Williams, Texas. Boom.
Of course.
Easy.
Well said.
Yeah.
1998 broke the record. Amazing.
Yep. Unless there's one in there that we forgot. The last 2.
Well, Ricky Williams won at 98. Big 12 started in 1996.
Yep.
And
then you got RG3.
The answer is...
Like Steph Curry down the lane.
Survey says...
Layup, baby. Walking off on this one.
RG3 got it done. Eric Crouch.
Eric Crouch! Oh, man!
Nebraska. That's a tricky question.
Oh, that was tricky. That was tricky. We skipped over Eric Crouch. Man, I used to love Eric Crouch on NCAA, like 2001, 2002. I used to play with Nebraska all the time. How could that's on me? You know what, Roy? I'm patting my chest. That one's me. That one's on me. That one's on me. You didn't provide a lot of help.
No, I didn't.
That one's on me.
Oklahoma, well, they've won a lot of Heisman trophies here. Big 12 era, Jason White, Bradford, Mayfield, Kyler Murray. In the pre-Big 12 era, got a couple more to tell you about. They got the statues right outside the stadium here to prove it.
Eric Crouch.
That one got me.
That's a tough L to take week 1. That's a tough L to take.
Well, the problem is you have conference realignment and teams have shuffled in and out of all these leagues.
I'm not making excuses. I am.
McKenzie brings down Wallace again. Pre-Big 12, Heisman winners. Who can forget the great Billy Sims, Steve Owens, Billy Vessels. Back in the early 1950s, Sans face mask.
Yeah.
Toughness personified.
You know, it really sort of drives it home the amount of excellence that's come through this program. When you drive by the statues and you see the Billy Vessel, Steve Owens, Billy Sims, then the Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Josh White, like just driving by them, you can tell when they started to put up those statues, weren't really sure that they'd get to 7, but you got enough space to continue to build them out.
Jackson Daly tosses one. Miller McCrumbie. Is that Jason White with the Heisman Trophy for Oklahoma?
Yeah. You know,
107.
And then you've got, like, you know, a guy like Jalen Hurts who made the Heisman Trophy ceremony. Certainly had a good enough season for Oklahoma to win it.
How incredible of a career has he enjoyed?
Oh, unbelievable, man.
After what happened in the national championship and the new contract signed with the Eagles. I mean, he has turned out to be one of the best players in the National Football League. And he was a guy that left Alabama to come here to Oklahoma and has only just gotten better and better in all facets of the game since.
It feels like one of those guys where you feel great about both schools claiming him. The year that he put together here at Oklahoma, obviously the body of work that he had at Alabama. did things the right way. And it really sort of drives home what's expected here out of Brent Venables. That's the level of player, that's the level of success and excellence that's expected, and he certainly knows that as well as anybody.
Ethan Downs a sack. On 2nd and long, it'll be 3rd down and longer. Six tackles for loss today by this Oklahoma defense. And you see some of the key players still on the field.
I was going to say, a lot of guys who are...
That shutout is pretty important in week 1.
Ethan Downs listed as a starter. He's still in the football game.
Got interesting personalities on that side of the ball this season in Norman, with Trace Ford coming in from Oklahoma State. Played there for a handful of seasons. Of course, there's going to be a lot of conversation at the end of this year about Bedlam. With OU going into the SEC, it looks as if that series will not persist after this season, which is only going to make that game even juicier. But boy, for college football, you hope that somehow, some way, everybody comes together and some of the rivalries that could be lost are not.
You would certainly hope so. And look, ego, pride gets in the way of this a lot of times, but I think we need to have leadership and the adults in the room come together and say, hey, look, I know Oklahoma State, you're upset about what happened with Oklahoma and the way that they're leaving. And I know that your reasoning is, hey, they left so they don't want to play the game. But that game needs to be played for the health of college football. And so I hope after some healing, we get some of those rivalries that we've lost back.
Less than 5 minutes to go. Brent Venables pleased with his team. Week 1. I thought it happened in '98.
We had it, Matt, but the question was the last 2. And Ricky Williams happened before Eric Crouch, so they snuck it in on us. Those sneakers.
For the record, that TCU-Colorado game, Shedeur Sanders, 32 of 40 through the air, 364 yards and 2 touchdowns.
32 of 40, wow.
32 of 40. Chandler Morris, 20 of 33. Good back and forth affair there. Coach Prime's debut at CU. Still in the Pac-12, but next year in the Big 12. New quarterback to tell you about, Davis Bevel. Signed with Pittsburgh, originally from Greenville, South Carolina, my neck of the woods. Good player. Under center. And in that pistol formation, we'll see a good bit this year once again in Norman.
Yeah, we will. And if you didn't see early on the onslaught that Oklahoma put on this Arkansas State defense, I mean, the quarterback position has looked great for Oklahoma so far today. Dylan Gabriel was fantastic. He was decisive. He was accurate. Hit big plays. Lots of like. As now you see our 3rd Oklahoma quarterback.
Well, I'll frame it to you like this. OU has attempted 33 passes today. Only 3 have been ruled incomplete, and Bevel got rocked. Slow to get up. And he went back down.
Officials tied down on the field.
Twisted up
for injury.
Less than 4 to go and an injury timeout at Norman.
ESPN College Football is presented by Zales. Only at Zales, the Diamond Store.
Now back in Norman, Oklahoma. Davis Bevel assisted off the field moments ago. Certainly hope he's okay. Came in quickly and left just as fast after absorbing a tough shot in the upper body. General Booty, the new quarterback, he steps in for the first time for Oklahoma this year. Saw action last season against TCU. And on 3rd down, could be a free play for Booty. He'll loft one that is incomplete.
Offside. Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
General Axel Booty was so named because his father, former LSU wide receiver Abram Booty, was obsessed with the military, promised to name his son General. And the well-rounded quarterback transferred from Tyler junior college.
I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room. And that's it. This Oklahoma crowd, with their applause, showed that they've been waiting for Booty all day.
They've been waiting for Booty for a long time. And on third down, driven backwards by Gavin Potter, Caleb Hicks will lose a couple. Well, it has not happened yet today, but it could be on the verge, and we're talking about Oklahoma having to punt.
Fans certainly don't want it. They want more General Booty. What they will get is an Oklahoma punt for the first time today. And there's been a lot of question on which punter we would see. We had to wait till 2 minutes, 50 seconds into the fourth quarter to get that answer.
Josh Plaster, transfer from Arizona State. Won the competition. Went right up until pregame meal earlier this morning. Courtney Jackson calls for the fair catch at the 41. Sooners pitching a shutout, 73-0 after a punt of 50 by Plaster. Big start for Oklahoma, leading Arkansas State 73-0. Less than 3 to go. Roddy Jones, Roy Philpott, Taylor McGregor as we take a look at today's road test. Brought to you by Goodyear. And on the road, dare I suggest it looks manageable for Oklahoma this year, Roddy?
The schedule as a whole looks manageable for Oklahoma, especially in the Big 12. No Texas Tech, no Kansas State on the list. You get a road trip to Cincinnati. Cincinnati picked at the bottom of the league. You go to BYU as well. Now, it's at altitude, and Lavelle Edwards Stadium can be tricky. But overall, it's the type of schedule that Oklahoma should be looking at and thinking, we got a real shot.
Give me an over-under after watching today and understanding the schedule does get tougher in league play, but I think in your opinion, based off of how you and I have interacted this week, your expectations is that this should be a team this year that's built and constructed to win at least 9 games?
This is a 10-win team. I think if you lose 3 games on that schedule, I don't think that, especially with the way TCU looks today against Colorado, I think 10 wins should be doable for this team. It should be the expectation going forward.
What's the Twitter handle, or the X handle rather?
Roddy Jones 20, man.
There it is.
Hey. Honestly, it's taken me a lot to not go 11, to be honest with you. Like, that Texas game is the one. Now, I understand things can happen, but this team should win 10 games.
Well, that score last year in the Red River rivalry remains with this team to this day. The offseason workouts tailored around what happened last year in Dallas and the expectation that will not happen again this season. 90 seconds remaining. Year 2 for Brent Venables, off to a great start. SMU next weekend could be interesting. SMU with Brett Lashley and the good job he's done.
SMU opened up with Louisiana Tech, and was up big at halftime, putting up some points. It's going to test this Oklahoma defense, because Brett Lashley.
Defense, number 93, in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Brett Lashley's as good as there is, or is as good as anyone in the country at designing ways to get guys open. You test your eye discipline, is going to test you from a formation standpoint. So it will be a different challenge for this Oklahoma defense, let's just say.
Jackson Daly will step ahead and to the side to pick up a first down on 3rd and short. And the lead prospect, 5-star defensive lineman with the tackle. Eddie Bawura. PJ with that previous stop, and Kobe McKenzie. Tackle here as time winds down on an impressive afternoon in many different ways for Brent Venables.
And after a 6-7 season, this is the type of start that really puts the world on notice, the college football world. Brent Venables and this Oklahoma team are going to be a force this season.
Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Arnold, a host of receivers and running backs got the job done in a very big way. Number 20, OU 73, Arkansas State nothing. Ronnie Jones, Taylor McGregor, and our entire crew. Roy Philpott saying thanks for watching. Send you back to the studio, and a big afternoon of college football continues. Good afternoon to Matt Berry, Joey Galloway, Coach Muller.